let's take a look at the Velocitas Imperium Porsche RSR wheel. Now, this is a replica of the Porsche wheel. This is not an officially licensed wheel, so you'll see a lot of references to Porsche in this video, but that doesn't mean it has anything to do with them. This is a replica. I've chosen to add those images, so I just want to say that. And thank you to the guys Betty and Rufus at Velocitas Imperium for sending this over. They sent it to me, but it doesn't change how I feel about the wheel. So Velocitas Imperium makes a ton of different peripherals and devices. They made a couple other wheels or a few other wheels in the past. They weren't this and this isn't that, and this is the best wheel they've ever made, and I think it's a wheel that rivals others. Let's take a look. On the front of the wheel, you get 10 push buttons, 4 rotary encoders, 2 funky knobs, 4 thumb encoders, and a 5-inch touchscreen behind the glass. On the back of the wheel, you get shifters, you get paddles, you get clutches. The shifters and paddles also function both ways, meaning you can push and pull them. So instead of 4, you get 8 functions out of each, which you can map to anything. The wheel's a banger. Thanks Colt 40 for sending over the Transformer sticker. As you know, Autobots roll out. So with that being said, this wheel is the wheel they needed to design. It's the wheel to me that puts them on the map. And it takes them from just making peripherals and button boxes and dashes and LEDs and all the small things to making something that I think the masses are going to want. The wheel has all the features that we talked about, but let's highlight them even more. It's got 10 push buttons on the front. It's got 4 LEDs behind each button. It's got literally a ton of LEDs that will function and do all the things you want to do in SimHub. It's got a 5-inch touchscreen that can be used in SimHub that come with their own dash where you can do some really cool effects and things. On the front, it also has 4 rotary encoders that are also multi-position switches. But on the bottom left, that's a multi-position switch that is mapped to the 2 bottom buttons, left and right, that you see I have minus and plus, and that gives you some real functionality that I think you'd really like. 4 thumb encoders, easy to reach, top one's a little bit harder to reach, and then of course the paddles on the back. Again, just a banger of a wheel that they needed to design. Now let's actually look at the wheel. Again, you've got your 10 push buttons, your 2 funky knobs, your 4 multi-position or used as rotary encoders, but the bottom left one again is the multi-position that also controls the dash, which you can make some cool elements in SimHub. But on this actual multi-position switch, you actually calibrate your clutches. It's very easy. You follow the directions that are on screen. You hold the bottom left button. You'll see the off turn to on, letting you know that now you can calibrate it. You simply pull them and then calibrate them. And once you're done, you hit the button and you're done. On the other end, it's going to tell you if you want to set your bite point to hold the bottom right button. Now you're going to turn the left funky knob. It's counterintuitive. You'll turn it the opposite way to go up, and the way you would normally turn it to go up to go down. So you'll set your bite point, and again, depending on what car you're driving, if you're driving a Porsche or something like that, you're likely going to have a bite point that's somewhere in like the 30s or something along those lines. But again, you simply let go, you're all set and you're good to go. And then again, like I said, it's a multi-position, so if you want to set it to use different things, you use the 2 bottom buttons, bottom right to go up, bottom left to go down. If you're a nerd at DDC, you can change this, but I am not that guy, so I can't do that. So oh well. Again, on the wheel, you've got the funky knobs, the 4 thumb encoders, shifters, and clutches. But if you ever want to program the wheel, you hold the top 2 buttons for about 5 seconds. It puts it into DFU mode. All you'll do is you'll see it pop up in the window here. I'm going to take the file that they sent for the upgrade, which may happen from time to time, and just drag and drop it in. That's as simple as it is. You'll see that it'll update. The wheel will then disconnect and reconnect. Now it reconnects. I always reset my wheel. You may not have to do that, but I always unplug it and plug it back in, simply because I think that's the right thing to do. Whenever you update something, give it a nice refresh, and then you should be good to go. And then go to SimHub, add your device like you normally would by clicking on the plus symbol, which I'll show you here. I already have it added, but you click on the plus, you'll see the wheel pop up. And then from there, you click on the wheel, you click on OK to add it. And then from there, you have the option to add a bunch of different profiles. I use ATSR Evil that you can see here, and I think it's absolutely great. I think everybody should use it, but maybe I'm a little biased. I love the actual profile myself, so I'd recommend it to anybody. Try it, use it, change the LED brightness, change all the colors, and again, I made a video on how to set all of that up. But let's take a look at what it's like to actually drive the wheel. Like I said, in 2025, Velocitas Imperium needed this, and as I throw on my Abruzzi gloves, visit their website, 10% off, use Grace10. Like, they needed a wheel that was going to thrust them into the forefront. They have a bunch of different devices, which like I said is cool, but they needed a banger of a product that I think would bring them and have them compete with all the different makers of DIY wheels and those that just manufacture wheels, right? This wheel can be and should be allowed to be purchased at a great price. Currently is not, and we'll talk about that later, but the wheel has all the features you're going to want. As I said, it's got 10 push buttons on the front, 4 rotary encoders on the front, 4 thumb knobs on the front. So you get a litany of function, and again, it is a great replica of a wheel that you see on the screen that is in the RSR GTE car. The shifters feel nice and clicky. Again, you can add magnets, and the great thing about DIY or any wheel, if you want a little bit stronger, you can add layer magnets, but just with the stock magnets that it comes with, it's nice and clicky. It's got a decent pull to it, not too hard, not too soft. The great thing is you can also adjust it. You can push and pull, so it gives the option to layer other functions, and in Control Mapper you can layer it to do multiple different things. So with the right or left shifter or top right or left paddle, you can push and pull, so it gives you 8 functions instead of 4. Now granted, if you want to set up to have multiple shifters on one, or shift up when you pull it, shift down when you push it, you're going to want to go into something like Control Mapper and then add an additional function so that if you push it or pull it, it'll work in different ways. You can do this in DDC, but again, this is a very complicated thing to do that maybe not everybody will have the ability to do. The grips are nice and grippy. They're exactly what I want in a wheel. They're chunky, they're grippy, my hands fit perfectly on them. Yes, they are lint magnets, but I don't care. I'd rather have a grippy wheel so that I don't have to deal with anything, as opposed to something that's smooth that really allows your hands to slip, especially if you're the type of person that has sweaty hands. Get some gloves. Again, a Bruzy to the rescue. With that being said, the thumb encoders are nice. I can easily reach the middle ones. The ones on top are a little bit harder to reach, and again, if you have bigger hands, it'll be significantly easier for you to reach them. The thumb encoders are large. They're some of the bigger thumb encoders you'll find on any wheel, and if you look at any wheel that's on the market that has these types of thumb encoders or this design replica wheel, they don't even come close. So these are large, they're nice and tactile. The thumb encoders and the way they have selected them is really good. The frame of the wheel is quite thin, which eliminates a lot of the weight, and if you're going to do this as a DIY, it's definitely worth it. What do we think of the RSR wheel? Well, I think it's the best version of the wheel on the market, but that's just me. And probably because I like funky knobs and I absolutely need them, and the grips are absolutely amazing. They're nice and chunky the way I expect them to be on wheels, and they feel absolutely great. I have medium-sized hands, as people make fun of me, but these feel absolutely great, and it's absolutely cool. The thumb encoders are nice and large, as you can see here. But again, for some of you, that may be an issue if you have large hands. And I only said that because I know some people have rubbed their thumbs up against this when they're making certain 90-degree turns. So again, or sharp turns or hairpin turns. So your thumbs may rub this a little, depending on how big your hands are. But again, you can always just swap these out for smaller thumb encoders. Obviously, these are the one that's designed for it, but you can always get third-party aftermarket ones. So not really a big deal for me. The only quirks that are about this wheel are 3. 1, they have this QR hub that they designed to attach your QR to attach to the wheel. The only thing bad about it is just this bolt pattern, right? If you use an NRG QR, as you guys will know, the center is upright this way. This one is aligned this way, so it'll be misaligned either way. Overall, great product, will work for every QR that you have. The design could be better, but you don't have to use this. It will come with your wheel. I'm using a Delta SimTech spacer here that's red that goes with my QR that you see here. So again, it'll work with just about any QR on the market. What a letdown is for me is when you think of how well this was designed, and the buttons could have been better. Now, they do wiggle. I don't care about buttons that wiggle, because in my real car they do, and in $10,000 wheels on, $300,000, $500,000 race cars, they wiggle. So I don't really care about that. My problem is to activate them, it's very soft, not very defined, and I think when you've designed a wheel that is a banger, that I think everybody should have, to miss on this is kind of like, oh man, you know what I mean? Because you push buttons. But again, it's not the end of the world. It's just when it's so great, that's a miss for me. And I would hope that in future wheels that they choose a different button because it just feels kind of muddy to me. But the biggest problem about this is you can't buy it. They've done 2 group buys and that's it. You can't currently get this wheel. It will be coming soon, but you can't buy it. And I think that's sad because this wheel is otherwise the best one on the market when you think of all of the wheels that do this thing and have a Porsche design wheel. Again, other wheels are great. I like them all, but they're not this. And I think this is the best version. I've had the opportunity to hold and drive each version, and I think this is the best one when you consider all of the things. So, but other than that, I think the wheel is definitely worth it. If you could buy it, I would tell you to go on right now, go ahead and click on the next group buy and join. Hopefully soon it'll be up and available for everybody to buy, but I think it's awesome nonetheless. And I think if you get a chance to buy it, this is the best version of this particular wheel because of all the features that it has. So with that being said, hope you liked this video. Check out Velocitas Imperium. They make other really cool products using ATSR Evo profile on this. As you saw, I'm using Lovely Dash and all the great things, as you can see by the wonderful logo here. So with that being said, hope you guys like this. Tune in, follow, like, subscribe, join my Discord, join us in races, all the good fun. Thank you members for continuing to pay it forward to me. I don't know why, but you'll get to see this video first before everybody else. So if you like me, do all the things. I can't wait to talk to you all. See you at the next expo. I'm going to PRI. I'll be at Indy Friday and Saturday, so hopefully you'll be there. Talk to you then. Later. Peace.